welcome to your new favorite paranormal podcast. I am your host, Kevin Leonard. Corey is under the weather this week, so ever ready to fill in. My lovely lady, Tracy. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Welcome back. I've been
Welcome
here
back.
before, okay? Give me my credit. I've had about 2 episodes where I'd stuck my face in, so welcome back. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have Tracy on. It's always fun, always a blast. We try to convince her to get on more often. Sometimes you hear her in the background, so she's present, but
Yeah.
you'll hear a little voice here and there.
Somebody's got to watch the kids. We can't all have fun all the time.
Yeah. So today is, as of recording this, it is May 27th. So last week we were at Beta Quest in Kingsland, Georgia at the Camden Middle School. So I want to give a shout out to them and thank you to everyone that stopped by, everyone that we met. It was an awesome experience. Keep doing what you're doing, Beta Quest. It's for an awesome cause or whatnot to send the beta team to the nationals, and we actually picked up a couple of things.
I'm so excited. Look, we found these little cuties while we were there from one of the really cool booths that they had. They had really awesome vendors there of all types of different anime and voice actors.
And I was just going to jump in really quick that
Yeah.
for our listening our listening
sorry.
audio for just the podcast version, we got a voodoo doll and a little ghost plushie.
Cute.
Yeah, so continue.
I don't know where I was, but
You were saying what it
awesome
was.
vendors, voice actors, autographed collectibles. Like that's right up our alley. I mean, you can't even see the collection that Kevin has here, but that's right up his alley. So these are the only things that we could afford that day. But if we could buy everything, we would have.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really jumped out at us. Like she said, they had something for everyone. They had like all the vendors, they had your anime stuff, and that was like a little, I wouldn't call it a paranormal shop, but it had like your metaphysical type stuff or
Yeah,
whatnot.
little
But
spooky items like coffins and yeah.
yeah, so those couple of things jumped out at us. So again, thank you to Beta Quest. Hopefully next year we'll be a part of it again. We're always willing to jump in and do these types of events. So, big announcement here. Starting with the next episode of Into the Paranormal podcast, we will be moving. We will be changing our homes. We will be uploading on the Kappa Paranormal YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed, shame on you. Go over to the YouTube channel for Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association and hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you won't miss any future uploads on Into the Paranormal, as well as any content that we will be uploading. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that we have a couple of things in the works in the Paranormal Kitchen. So, youtube.com, I don't know what the link, it's at Kappa Paranormal. Everything is at Kappa Paranormal. Go to the website, kappaparanormal.com, and there is a direct link that will take you to the YouTube channel. So go ahead. It's free to subscribe. Make sure you got that done, and starting with the next episode, it will be on the Kappa Paranormal channel. Speaking of www.kappaparanormal.com, I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of plug it a little bit. We do have a paranormal news section that is generated from a feed that has some pretty interesting stories, and I wanted to jump into one because one of these stories just happened to be about my favorite cryptid, sort of, kind of, in a way. If you know me, I love werewolves. That is my favorite cryptid of all time. I love anything to do with werewolves, dogman, all that good stuff. So this is a news article. It's on the Kappa Paranormal News feed or whatnot, but it's on popculture.com. So it is the werewolf portal in England explained. So I'm going to go ahead and read the article to you, and then we'll kind of discuss a little bit. Paranormal experts are warning that a portal in Cannock Chase, a spooky English forest in Staffordshire, may allow werewolves and other beasts from another world to enter our reality. The area is a well-known hotspot for alleged supernatural sightings, with dozens of reported encounters with creatures like werewolves, ghosts, and the infamous black-eyed child. Author Lee Brickley, who has researched the area for 2 decades, believes there could be a door to an alternate universe in Cannock Chase that is letting these entities in. Cannock Chase is known around the world as a place where people encounter entities such as werewolves, ghosts, phantom hitchhikers, and perhaps most famously, the Black-Eyed Child. Brickley told the Daily Star in his new book, Werewolves and Dogmen in the UK, Brickley expressed fear that something terrifyingly large may soon come through this supposed portal. I believe it is entirely possible that something exceptionally big is coming, he warned. Reports of the creepy black-eyed child haunting the woods began circulating in the 1980s. Some believe it is the spirit of a murdered young girl, while others think it could be a demon or even an alien entity. Brickley added, he believed the woods are haunted with many spirits of the dead, with the creepy black-eyed child possibly rubbing shoulders with other scary beings like werewolves and monsters. The idea of portals or dimensions gateways is not unique to Cannock Chase. The anonymous author of the Portals of London blog offers a surreal take on the city's supposed temporal anomalies, like the Woolwich Foot Tunnel exhibiting time slips, stating, at some point around the millennium, however, the tunnel developed a tendency towards temporal instability, time slips, and related anomalies although infrequent, can be extreme. Oh, man. So, what I take from this article is that is a place that I need to go and investigate several things at once. You gonna go with
Black-eyed
it?
children,
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah. And how have we come full circle here where I think the last episode that you and I did together was
Well, it was the only one that we've done together alone,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Was
Just so
about
happened to be
black-eyed
about
children.
that, yeah.
and
I feel
I
the same way I did then.
and I didn't. That wasn't planned or anything. So would you go and investigate with me?
Of course I would.
Yeah. So you heard it here, folks. She'll let them in.
Didn't say that.
How else are you going to investigate the black-eyed children?
You can talk to them. You don't have to let them in your house. I've
Yeah.
said this before.
Talk to them through the peephole.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. But yeah.
That sounds interesting, though.
Yeah, and if any of our listeners or viewers are from the Cannock Chase area in England or like the surrounding area, how is is the paranormal experience heightened in that area or whatnot? How many stories have you heard coming from that area about werewolves or aliens or black-eyed children or any type of paranormal phenomenon? We definitely want to hear about it, so leave them in the comments, shoot us a message, something. So, moving on to today's topic. Tracy, what are we going to talk about?
Today, we're talking about shadow people. Shadow people, shadow man, shadow figures, shadows in general. So with that being said, have you seen a shadow person? Oh, I forgot Hat Man, the worst one. That's terrifying. He'll talk
I
about it.
wouldn't say
yeah.
the worst one, but
It doesn't have a great reputation.
it doesn't. However, to answer your question, in the traditional sense, I haven't, but during investigations that we've been on, I have seen entities present themselves as shadows. Speaking of which, I believe your first actual visual encounter during an investigation was at the USS North Carolina in Wilmington, and you saw a shadow.
I did.
Yeah.
And it was peeking around a corner multiple times. I confirmed it with 2 other investigators. I know I'm not going crazy. I wouldn't say I was afraid. I thought it was really cool to see, actually. It's different when you're on an investigation. You're kind of looking for things and you're so satisfied when you get them versus seeing one standing in the corner of your bedroom in the middle of the night. Not a fan. Not a
Right.
fan of the idea.
Right. And during investigations, when you see shadows or whatnot, I tend to call that shadow play. So if someone's talking about a location, not necessarily someone's home, like a residential case or whatnot, but like, these places that investigators tend to go to for different reasons or whatever. And someone might ask you, oh, what type of evidence did you get? Was there any type, was it active at all? And you might say, oh, we got, a couple of audio things, a couple of EVPs or disembodied voices, tons of shadow play, etc., etc. That would be what I call the shadow person during investigations. The traditional shadow person, hat man, all of that tends to come from when you're in bed at night. You might wake up and you have a dark corner of your room, and you see the silhouette, the outline of a darker figure in the shape of a person. You might see the head, the shoulders. Some people even say they see the arms, like the entire figure.
Humanoid figure.
Right. And it's in this shadow, but just that part is darker.
Darker than regular dark.
Right. And some people have reported seeing like glowing white or yellow, sometimes red eyes coming from this shadow person. Some people even say that it will start walking toward them. And then most of the time, as quickly as it happens in these reports, they disappear. Some people, they have different explanations that people will give for these shadow entities. They might say that they are demons. They're your ancestors just looking over you. Just an outer body experience, something from the astral plane where you're just watching yourself sleep.
Aliens.
Aliens. What was the lady's name?
Heidi
Hollis.
Hollis.
Yeah, she even claimed that these beings were negative aliens that were coming to attack you basically while you're asleep.
From a different dimension.
Right. And I don't.
Which, I mean, we can't say she's wrong. We don't know.
Yeah, I personally don't buy into that philosophy. However, as I stated before, I haven't necessarily experienced a shadow person in the traditional sense. I haven't waken up at night and saw like a shadow person in the corner or whatever. So I can't speak to that. And then there's different types of shadow people. You have your traditional. I can't say the word traditional. It sounds weird.
Traditional.
I talk too fast, I think is what it is. But you have your traditional shadow person, and where it's just an outline, a silhouette of a person, as we stated before.
Yeah, not to be confused with like a full-bodied apparition. There are
Right.
no features for the most part. Sometimes they see eyes and stuff like that, but
Right.
you can't really see any features and eye color. Well, you said eye color. There's like white or red.
Right. Their eyes might glow.
I feel like that's less frequent though.
It is. Well, I mean,
Sometimes it could just be a blob too.
yeah,
A
it could
blob
just
of shadow.
dark mist, right?
Yeah.
Or they could see basically the same entity, except it has a hat, like a top hat or something, and that entity is what's known as the Hat Man. And the Hat Man team seems to get a bad reputation. It's more known to be a darker entity, the demon of the group, who, if you see the Hat Man, it's basically an omen to deliver bad news. But there's also other cases where the Hat Man comes to deliver news, like basically warn you of something that's bad going to happen, which if he's doing that, he can't be all bad. I haven't heard as much of them being aliens or anything like that. Is it possible? Sure. However, in all of the cases, pretty much as soon as you kind of fix your eyes on the shadow person, they disappear. It's over just like that. And as far as like the shadow beings that we have seen, I believe it was the last episode Corey and I did. It was the case files on the Gilchrist County Jail, and that is a location that has a lot of shadow play. Corey and I believe, in that episode, spoke about several shadows that we saw. I believe upstairs in the jail, going from cell 8 to 7, it's widely known that there's a dark shadow that will dart between the cells going from one to the other. And in this case, I want to say, because it's been a while since I've been there, that this entity, I want to say they called him Robert. And he presents himself as a shadow figure. And he is more, I don't like to say he's dark, but he is more angry than the other spirits at the jail. When we were at the North Carolina, at the battleship, myself, and Cleo, we were down in the engine room, and we had seen, you guys had seen another shadow person blocking the light. So when it comes to shadow people, in their traditional sense, I don't buy into the omen of death or the bringers of evil and bad news or whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you were to give someone an explanation or what a shadow person could be, like just gut instinct, what would you say? Like, would you lean toward it being just a person that's watching over them, not necessarily evil or dark?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the way they present themselves just kind of automatically gives you negative energy
Mm-hmm.
because it's dark, it's spooky. Sometimes they peek, they disappear. You just go to negative right away. But I feel like it could just be the way that a spirit wants to present itself to you, a positive one, a negative one, a neutral one. Like, it could be a guardian angel, sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the way that it chose to represent itself. And you know I guess to each their own, depends on how you see it. I guess it could be creepy if you feel someone watching you in your sleep, but I feel like it depends on the situation.
And I guess it could tie into
I mean,
every.
sorry, the ones at the battleship, I mean, that was residual energy just doing the
Yeah.
work that they were doing. The
Yeah.
What we saw was just shadows that looked like they were working in the engine room,
Yeah.
not paying any attention to us, no harm to us. And we saw them both times that we were at the battleship, so I wouldn't associate it with negative at all
Right.
for that reason.
And, and I was gonna say, if it was a client with a residential case that was experiencing shadow people, I would also take into consideration the other types of claims that they had. If there was nothing negative that was happening around them, like they might hear footsteps or they might hear a voice, someone down the hall saying hello or, whatever. And then the scariest part was a shadow person in the corner of the room that to me wouldn't scream danger. They wouldn't scream that there's a demon watching them. So you also have it kind of, you have to bundle the claims together
Yeah.
and then look at the shadow person in that way.
Yeah.
Now, if they are possibly waking up with scratches or door slamming on them, stuff like that, or whatever, or they have nightmares, or maybe it's accompanying sleep paralysis, something like that, then this shadow person might be a little bit darker.
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't
agree with
say
that.
demon or anything. I'll never say it's a demon, but it could be a more angry spirit, and even then, it just could be an angry spirit. You have to find out why it's angry. What is going on to make this entity not happy?
Want to cause harm.
Right. And then that's when the investigation would take place or whatnot. We would, find out answers or whatever and then tackle it together. And then I would say that 10 times out of 10, the shadow person would probably go away, or they might not even know that they're scaring you or hurting you in any way, just trying to get your attention, which is a lot of the times with demonic cases.
Yeah. So like I said, I still think it depends on what else is going on, like the actual situation at hand.
But yeah.
I did read that the Hat Man is very closely associated with sleep paralysis and, to my surprise, taking, what was it, Benadryl?
Yep, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Which I had never heard that.
I didn't, I mean, I know that some medications can cause hallucinations and stuff like that, but they were very specific about Benadryl.
Yep, and that you actually brought up a good point. Medications causing hallucinations. On top of medications that cause hallucinations, could it be a fear cage? Could it be you're highly susceptible to EMF and you are just basically wherever this phenomenon is taking place in your current situation? Could you be basically just dousing yourself in EMF? Could there be, a live wire above your house, or a modem router or whatnot, and it's just affecting you personally, and then you're thinking you're seeing shadow person or shadow people, hat man, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it could be as simple as a lack of sleep. I mean, we've all been so tired before that we've seen things out of the corners of our eyes and stuff like that. So they were very specific about peripheral vision and stuff. So, I mean, you might think that you've not seen one, and surely you've seen something dark past the side of your eye before, and when you look over there, it's gone. They can do that too.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
So, yeah, some things to think about. So, all in all, what are shadow people? Don't know. But it is a phenomenon that is actually more common than you think. It's happening all around the world in different cultures or whatnot. There's several different cultures that have reports of shadow people, the Hat Man. But yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you feel like you should try to communicate with one if you see it?
Me?
Anyone?
I would let a black-eyed child in.
Oh God. you, would you
I am an
recommend
investigator.
someone trying to speak to a shadow person if the opportunity were to show up?
Would I recommend? I don't want to say yes or no because of my inquisitive nature. However, to the average person, I would probably say no, because you wouldn't, unless you're absolutely, it kind of goes back into investigating your own home.
Your own house, yeah.
You have to be sure that you're ready for the response. So if you see a shadow entity in your corner and you go to speak to it, it may not say anything. It might just stare back at you and then disappear. Or it could have a message for you. You could say, who are you? And you might get a response that you're not ready for. Or what do you want? You might get a response that you're not ready for. Would you speak to one?
No.
On an investigation?
I feel like if it wanted to speak to me, I'm like all ears. Go ahead and speak.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start that conversation and open that.
So you would communicate, but you wouldn't engage.
It depends on what they say to me.
You wouldn't be the engager.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't start stuff, I finish it.
Okay.
It's true.
So we're going to end it here. Again, next week, or starting on the next episode, I'm going to get back on a regular upload schedule. I know I say that in every single episode, but I assure you we're going to get back to that regular upload schedule. But starting on the next episode, we will be uploading on the Kappa Paranormal YouTube channel. So Go make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell so you won't miss a future upload. We got a lot of stuff cooking. We're going to be putting out a couple of things. I don't want to go too deep into it, but make sure you're subscribed. You can find me at All Things Kappa Paranormal. So visit the website, kappaparanormal.com, Facebook, all that fun stuff. And if you have any paranormal stories that you would like us to read on a future episode, send them over to info@kappaparanormal.com or into the paranormalpod@gmail.com. And we would love to read them and read them out loud on a future episode. That is going to do it for this episode. And as always, I have been Kevin Leonard. That has been Tracy Watkins. And this has been Into the Paranormal.